Good morning. Happy Monday. I don't know what that noise is. It's another Monday, and we're back on the Homestead live. Hour behind. We've already done our 40 minutes of continuous cardio. 50 if you count the 10 minutes of blood pressure raising conversation that I had with my son at the beginning of this morning. That's right, I entertained a call from my son who's been experiencing issues. Bear with me one moment here, I'm getting a text message. We'll have to check that out here in a minute. But I'm trying to figure out a way I can do my push-ups without getting my hands on the ground because it is cold and wet, my favorite combination. I'm being sarcastic, of course, but we did our 40 minutes with the puppy out on the road, and it's cold and wet in Florida. We had a good rain yesterday. It was actually pretty warm yesterday in the 60s, and so we cooled off significantly down into the 30s after a good rain. So these mechanics gloves have seen better days, and I'm trying still to find my pig gloves, which I prefer to mechanics gloves. You can see they're pretty nasty actually at this point and smell terrible. But I think what I'm actually going to do is maybe use the trailer gate here, which is going to be dry, and yeah, I think we'll do that. So again, I don't take you all on my cardio anymore because I get a choppy signal from Verizon, and it seemed to correspond with getting the new iPhone, but at the same time Verizon was experiencing some issues. So but we're going to do our 147 push-ups and walk around and just do some homestead musings. We did about 8 hours of continuous landscaping work yesterday. Puppy, can you please? He wants to be Velcro dog. Now he's going to try to get his push-ups in without getting his hands wet. So this is a little bit challenging, being that typically we do our EDC of the day. I do have my Ontario camping knife, which has been pretty handy over the last week or so. I've actually seemed to use it to pry more than I do to cut, which is, arguably not the best tool for the job. But I do have my Rat's Tourniquet Glock EDC, which we won't show. And then I took the X grip off. I just brought a 19 magazine, Glock 19 magazine, mini educator. And then we have our Model 1 Ontario. So dual wielding Ontario knives today. That wasn't intentional, actually. It just happened. And then this is kind of interesting thing here. You can see I had a problem with tearing up my jeans with my knife clips. So I had my wife sewed leather on here literally 5 years ago, and it's still on there. It's a little janky, but it stays on there. And let's see. Some earbuds and a Zippo. Let's see if does this work. Look at that. It's dead. That came with the jacket. Oh man. So we are going to do, let's see if this is my bug out trailer here, but check out this cool what is that? Antique military surplus mess kit. It's pretty cool. I got it at a pawn shop, and it's not complete, but it's got most of it. All right, let's see how these 40 push-ups go after 8 hours of excavating and chainsawing yesterday. I was going to shed this layer, but once I cooled down after my cardio, I actually got really cold. So let's see, move my knife to the side. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2, Oh man. Okay, so that incline made it hit different. I wasn't expecting that, but I should have expected that based off, angles. So I will take you around and show you some of this week's projects. We'll see how, I guess, ambitious I get for the day. I do want to knock a good chunk of it out, though. But I'm finally going to tackle this massive monster eyesore and what I would call a tremendous amount of potential energy and hazards that I need to remove, because it's actually gotten worse. And of course, we're talking about monster tree here. Bobby, stay back. We had a whole bunch of deer out here this morning, and not only did I manage to keep the puppy under control without the electro collar, just with commands, but I managed to get it on video. So, but check this out. It shifted. So we're gonna get back here. This is a perimeter fence here. And the thing I like about this particular property is that this is all cypress swamp, right? And one of the reasons I got to get this done is because, unlike the last 3 years, this is not currently underwater. So we're gonna cut down this perimeter fence each side, hopefully pull that out. Hey, get back! Told you don't go over there. And then we'll come on the other side with the tractor, knock it down, go down there with the chainsaw, and try to get it to a manageable size where I could basically just push a certain amount of it into the cypress swamp, because I don't think nobody will mind. And then, dude, this is what happened here. This thing finally broke, and I don't want to get too close because you can see we're hanging by a thread. Look how nasty that is. There's something white growing in there. What the hell is that? So we're gonna step back, but I reckon I'll be happy to finally get rid of that sucker. So, but then I can reclaim all of this space, which will be pretty cool. And what I reckon we're gonna start looking at doing is maybe just cutting a certain percentage of this as a hobby farm. I'm thinking about actually renting the box tiller for tractor instead of buying one, because I don't really want to rely on a bunch of rototilling in the future. But we're also looking into getting a horse, so that's going to be another project coming up, depending on how much time I have before I have to go back to work. Cleaning out the horse stable, at least one stall for a horse, because the horse, we have a three stall horse stable, and it's pretty much been relegated to yard equipment and pool party house and grill house. So actually making it a functional horse stable. It's like it already smells like a farm over here, so might as well add the horse and generate natural source of manure and have alternative transportation. So looked into the cost of keeping a horse per year. Seems more manageable than I thought, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. All right, let's get to 80. I am feeling that need for some coffee. Mihai, where you at? What's in your mouth? What you been eating? Crap? Get out of here. Oh, all right. I really don't like this incline. Let me see if I can find something dry in here. Oh, look at that. I found a piece of plastic and a 308 cartridge. See if we can. Ah, screw it. Hey, Leave it. It's not for you. I'll just wipe my hands with a rag. Go on now. All right. 1, 2. Yeah. I gotta have the proof. So it's also hitting a little bit different because I haven't told this story, at least on camera. I told the story to the folks at the dojo, but I got in a fight, a kind of sort of a sparring, real fight with this young dude at the gym. Hey, we got people in the chat. Hello, Xset Bood. Happy Cappy. I caught you live. How old is puppy? We got knee-high February 2023. Was it 2023? Or was it 2022? No, it had to be 2023. So he was a puppy then, 1 month old. I think he was born February 14th, 2023. So that would make him roughly 3 years old. Hi, Korenger Roblox. My daughter likes to play Roblox. Okay, well, I told somebody they needed to limit their contact with me, and they are violating that request. So might have to pause this here in a minute to block somebody, unfortunately. So he's a beauty. Thank you. Yeah, he is a good looking dog. But yeah, my shoulders are really ripped up because this dude, I don't know if it was just testosterone or, but I was going to my gym and it was a Thursday and I was going to go do some heavy bag work with my gloves and then work on some, you know, just some footwork, if you will, with my trainer knives on the bag. And some dude came up and he just started like kind of shadow boxing with me. And he kept talking to himself, so he was obviously off. But he was built like Bob. Bob, what do they call it? The body opponent bag that you know, they typically have at dojo. He was built like Bob, like literally, like he had like Bob's physique, but like, I don't know, a weird dude's face. But he started shadow boxing with me, and then he came out and he started attacking me, right? And as a boxer, he just overpowered me. And I ended up like sticking him in his ribs with my trainer knife because I'm not a boxer, I'm a screamador. So I got to be sneaky, right? Because I can't really, and I don't think this dude realized that I wasn't a college kid because I can be hard to age sometimes. I mean, I was literally twice this dude's age. He's like, "Oh, are you getting tired?" And I really wasn't, but I was getting tired of getting my knuckles pummeled. You can probably see they're bruised right here because when I get tired, sometimes I punch with the wrong part of my fist, right? You're supposed to punch with this. I got them in the elbows a couple of times and I busted my knuckles. And then when I was training Saturday night at the dojo, Jason, I won't say his last name. Let's just say Jason B was back in town, and Jason B trains hard in Filipino martial arts and his bones are like rocks. And we were doing this this drill, and I noticed his palms were getting red. Jason's palms were getting, I'm like, dude, I'm not hitting you that hard. And it was like, oh, it's my blood. But you can see it's all bruised red. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. He kind of like bare buckled because he was kind of calling me out for wearing gloves. So I took my gloves off because I had this pride and ego issue sometimes. And yeah, I boxed with this like 24-year-old grad student that was off. He's like, "Oh, I've always been a jock and I've always been off." And I was like, "I can tell." Let's get to 120. Oh, that has got thorns on it. Shit. 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2, But if there's one thing he didn't get, it's the moneymaker. But I did get a thorn in my hand. Shit. So I could turn into a splinter. I have to find a needle. Anyway. Let's see. Korean girl Roblox said hi. With my trainer knife. Which has a doled off even from the factory. I rounded it off. Anyway, we had a bro moment at the end, and you know, I don't think either one of our pride or egos got hurt too much. Considering, again, I think he thought I was just some grad student. So here we have something really interesting going on right here. This was a completely eroded out trench that I filled in with a bunch of material that I removed from the backside of the horse stable yesterday. And what this is the gutters feed into a pipe, and the pipe ends right there. And what I have to do is I have to extend the pipe down so it properly drains in the swamp, right? So, but I filled it in, and you could, interesting that we had that rainstorm yesterday, the way the water kind of separated the material based off density. You can see there's like a dirt kind of stream, and then there's like a sand stream, because the material I put in was mixed, but the water naturally separated it. Kind of interesting. Cardboard's wet, but yeah, I probably will use that. That's not a bad idea. What you doing, Papas? So apart from the monster tree there and the horse barn, I still have the entire amount of trees that I cut down from the area that we cut down for the chicken run. Still have to process all those trees. I'm gonna buck them down and then cut them. And then the goal is to refill this here firewood receptacle. I gotta pause the stream for 1 minute, guys. I gotta attend to a text message. Just give me a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. Hey! He was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. I could tell the way he ran off like that. What are you doing over here? Man, whatever's stuck in my hand hurts. That's what he's doing. Digging. Hey, dude, that thing's dangerous. I gotta get rid of these things. Somebody's gonna end up with that spike in their face. All right, add that to the project list. Come get all the poles. Another thing we can do too is use the actual cement up here. What do people do who live in the city that have these dogs? So that's the problem with dirt. Once it gets wet, it turns to mud. Hey, get out of there. You ain't going on the couch now. Oh. Oh yeah, look at that, fresh mud. Couldn't open this gate till yesterday. It went to maybe there. So now we can open the gate and then put a horse back here once we get rid of these chickens. And by get rid of, I mean relocate. What you up to? thorn went pretty far up in my hand. See, it's not as bad now because everything's grown in around it. But like last year, year before, that was just like a big, giant eyesore sticking out. I mean, it doesn't seem that big because we're kind of far away. Let's see, we're at 20. I only have to do 27 more push-ups. And then we'll go have some coffee. It is cold. My hands are getting cold. But I'm going to do a couple of videos where I'm going to talk about the new excavator. And I can tell you one thing. It ain't no John Deere. It worked, but you can definitely tell the quality difference. But, I mean, the John Deere version of this was like $35,000. But it did the job, and I think one job I totally forgot to talk about. So when we moved in here, there was a road here. It's all grown in. There was a dirt road that led, you can kind of see, without showing too much, the beginnings of it off the main drive there. You can probably see the Jeep up there. Or there, you can see this here used to be a dirt road. It was kind of a sand and rock dirt road that went all the way down to the main horse gate. If you close the gate, it literally says horses caution on it. And there was a little road that was extended out back, and there was horse toys back there from the previous owner. And you know, now that we're looking at horses, of course, horses, of course, a horse, a horse. You know, I regret the boneheaded mistake of giving away stuff, all the horse stuff that was in the barn that we converted into a chicken coop, or the shed, I should say. So we had a saddle rack, literally three saddle rack, and a whole bunch of horse like paintings and horse leashes. I think there was a bunch of horse like shampoo and maintenance stuff, and we got rid of all of it and turned it all into chicken stuff, and now we're looking at getting a horse. Go figure. So he's a good boy. You nice and muddy? He's a good boy. I was thinking one of the things I want to talk about is the utility of equipment, right? Because we tried to do this for so many years without equipment, and it's just the game-changing nature. I haven't even used this guy yet. Look at this. I just picked this up. PhD, the Frontier PhD 125 post hole digger. I got two augers. I got that thin one, and I got this chonkus over here. So I want to get this and the post hole digger on this pallet here off the ground. So I had a big ordeal yesterday where I got my little trailer on my garden tractor stuck full of dirt up yonder by the horse stable. And you know what I could use? The mat. I had to use the grapple hook on the tractor, literally. Hey, get off there! Cause me work, dude. Little butthead. Being ornery on purpose. Yeah, let's go grab that. That mat's filthy. Put a layer of filth on my hand. I don't know why I there's this local radio station that every weekend they play they call it Yacht Rock Weekend, right? And they play they like made up this genre. It's not really a thing, yacht rock, right? And they play like Steely Dan and Crofton Seals and Hall and Oates, stuff like that, right? And but one of the things they play is Gordon Lightfoot, and I didn't grow up listening to Gordon Lightfoot, and his like songs got stuck in my head, and they played the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. I was like, this is such an awesome song. And I remember hearing it when I was a kid, but again, I didn't grow up listening to it. It wasn't something my dad listened to. Puppy. So it took me a couple weeks to figure out that all my favorite songs that are on this radio station, which I fault myself not being clever enough to figure this out, were by Gordon Lightfoot. Like all the songs, like, and so like I've been on this like Gordon Lightfoot kick, and I started learning to play and sing his songs yesterday. That's how much I like him. How many is that? 8, 9, 10, 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3, 5, 6, 7. But I actually got to start listening to this song, Sundown, and what it was about sitting in a room and thinking about your lady friend being out and what she might be doing with other men. Situation in the past. I could really relate to that song. Where you at, Happy Cappy? With a foot of snow. Yeah, man. Anyway, I didn't finish my story about the fight, right? The whole point of that whole thing is that my shoulders, apart from my fists getting bruised and bloodied, since I was boxing, and I'm not a boxer, I punched more than I ever did before. And so I had the craziest sore shoulder that I've ever had in my life. And it's probably, my right shoulder is going to be bigger than my left shoulder, because I got to learn to punch with my left arm more. Come on. My daughter apparently threw an old bottle of orange soda out the back of her mom's car, and the dog was over there trying to drink it. Happy Cappy loves Gordon Lightfoot too. Awesome. Yeah, I love it when I go back and find like a little treasure of music that I wasn't into before. It's always a treat. Kind of like when I discovered Genesis. Like I had been a progressive rock guy all my life, but I never really got into early, like Peter Gabriel era Genesis. And that happened like a decade ago. It's like I never listened to this. It's pretty good. But it's time for the girls and a couple of guys here to get relocated. Grant County, Kentucky. Yeah, y'all got hit for show. Well, stay safe and warm there, Happy Cappy. To your ability to do so. What's up, girl? This copper-colored one's always a curious one. A little braver than the rest, I think. Here you can see the back end. Hey! The work I did. Well, I have to switch boots to go in the house now. Yeah, this has been a pool party house here. See my grill, our table. I remember the very, very first real Passover meal we had was right here. I keep forgetting I had this heater. Has this got a tank in it? No. I have to fire this thing out. My fingers are frozen. See how it's bruised right there? It was like a big puff of blood there for a couple of days. Yeah, Genesis is awesome. Yeah, we're gonna have it's pizza night on Monday, and unfortunately, we're gonna eat almost 99.999% of the time. We have homemade, like Homestead made pizza that Mama makes, but we actually have some leftover cheese pizza because that's pretty much the only pizza we can get out in the world unless we can get ground beef. That I'm gonna add some homemade beef sausage to. But yeah, see, one thing we do have is a lot of the horse equipment as far as feeding stuff left over. But this has just been kind of a repository for the canoes and kayaks and wheelbarrow. Over there, oh, there's the Yardbird chicken processor. This thing's kind of cool. And once you dispatch your chicken and do your little blanch thing with them, and there's the kill cone right there. You put them in there and it defeathers them. The Yardbird chicken plucker. The walk mower's in here. Yeah, I got to get all the spring gardens planted over here. And then this here will be occupied here pretty soon. This is the meat bird. We keep two sets of birds, the meat only, and then the combo and egg layers are out back. Thanks, Happy Cappy. We almost lost it, as in sold the place, but we decided to stay. Oh, yeah, it was a kind of a crazy thing, you know. Something came into me. I think it was the Father above. Said, "Don't sell on a Thursday afternoon." And on a Friday morning, the following one, last weekday of Hanukkah, I got a job offer. So, granted, we managed to live mostly debt-free. We cashed out all my pot stocks, arguably at, some would say, probably the worst time, being that they're talking about doing stuff as far as reclassification. But I didn't want to go into debt to buy equipment, so I cashed out my stocks and bought the tractors. And I just didn't want to have any connection in that industry anymore. It's toxic, and I can't stand it, and I didn't want to think about it anymore. But I got me a tractor, so, and a place to tractorize. Knee-high, come. See? Look at that. The puppy can be free. I'm in Florida. You see my green knuckle. So, but we're in the northern part, so we do some weather up here, as opposed to, like, you know, what they call below the armpit of the Gulf of America. But yeah, let's see. Let's try to make sure we wrapped up everything. So yeah, Homestead projects, sore shoulder. I completed that story. Got in a fight with Bob, Tarzan Bob. I call him because he kind of looked like Tarzan with short hair. And yeah, and I think I'm gonna remake the horse road. I'm trying to think if I'm gonna try to. I was looking at getting a box blade. Got your inheritance and moved to the country. Smart. I wish I could get an inheritance, but I think my dad's going to be giving it, and I think what would have been my inheritance is probably going to end up with my dad's new Chinese family. But I've never been given a leg up by anybody. So, not to knock you, Happy Cappy. I'm glad you got your inheritance, but everything's just been building on a life of arguably decent choices. It's like I try to tell young people. I try to tell my son, but he never listens. You know, it's all about making good choices and not wasting time. So, a nice clean record so I can go get a cushy state job and some prime bennies, I mean, I'll take it. It's better than being unemployed and destitute, right? Sometimes if you can't beat them, you got to join them. The state. At least it's Florida. It could be worse. I almost got a job offer in New York. Imagine that. Where did I put my gloves? Yeah, you didn't run off with my gloves, did you? Oh, what was that? He gets this like guilty dog look. I gotta go close up the trailer. Oh man, that looks like a Superman sign. Shade. I believe they call that a triangle. Sorry I'm sniffling, guys. It's cold when my nose starts running. Okay, there they are. Oh, this is cool. Before I go get my coffee, whoever's sticking around long enough here deserves a bonus. Let's check this thing out. This thing is cool. Yeah, I had to tell my son. You know, he's kind of alienated himself. Yeah, Florida does rock. I would never go back to town either. Happy cabby. Ugh. But it's like I had to tell him, it's like I can't be in the constant communication loop with you. Let's see here. My fingers are frozen. This thing cool? But he doesn't have anybody else, and if there's one thing that I've learned a lot over the last couple of years is that men seek approval. It's something that I had a really smart teacher once told me. Men seek approval, women seek security, and that has pretty much been validated time and time again. And when you don't have anybody to get approval from, you start getting desperate and needy. Another thing too, the timelessness of a robust container. Like I said, it's not complete, but it's pretty cool. It's like a field kitchen. I have a shepherd too. I wouldn't have anything else. I haven't had anything else. I mean, when I was a kid, I had a pug for a while, but I had my mom married my stepdad, and they were like 80s, party 80s Reaganauts, right? So I don't think they wanted the responsibility, and they didn't really have a sense to instill in me the responsibility. So they gave away my dog after only having him like a year to my auntie, and she kept the dog into old age. But I don't know how old this is. I want to say maybe 50s. I could be wrong. But old-timey, vintage field kitchen, if you will. I don't know if I can call that mess kit, but it appears to be aluminum. And I'm not a big fan of cooking with aluminum. But these are cool. And I really dig the silverware. I mean, look at this. US GI stainless, that says. Let's see if it says it on the fork. Man, I'm having trouble even reading that. Utica? Is that what that says? Utica, out.co.us. I don't know if that looks like that's what that says. USOL. I don't know. I have my hands are a combination of numb and still healing from my gym brawl. Anyway, we'll see if I can get some origin story on that, but that's pretty cool, isn't it? It's very cool. Always German. Oh yeah, I don't think I would have any other. I mean, I've seen you know, some crossbreeds with shepherds that were also pretty cool dogs. But I've all my experiences with other dogs, they're just kind of they're kind of yippy and dumb, you know. There's just a certain intelligence. I think I did a video of Trust Your Dog. Let's see, how does this thing close? Trust Your Dog or something, where he's literally saved our chickens, which, you know, is our food, right? Most of my protein comes from chickens and eggs. So as a matter of fact, Happy Cappy, coming back to the Yum Yum chicken dinner. Again, finishing thoughts, closing thought streams of consciousness here. It's pizza night, but one of these nights this week, we're going to be going into our chicken freezer and extracting one of our last harvested meat birds and doing some sort of crock pot chicken. It's really nice. You know, you farm the birds, you raise them, you slaughter them, you freeze them, and then you just, you know, in the morning, especially when you go back to work, when I go back to work, you know, throwing a chicken in the crock pot in the morning, coming home, smelling the cooked chicken. Yeah, that's my jam. Now, I will be honest, I prefer beef to chicken. Beef is my preferred meat. I just haven't gotten to the cattle stage of homesteading yet. Now, hopefully, if I can maybe get to a point where I can retire, I'd like to do the cattle thing. Being that it's gonna be, you know, a little rough going back to work, being that my last job afforded so much freedom. Arguably, that's why I'm not there anymore. And so, but we're going to be wrapping up here momentarily, as I have to, as I often say, starting to exhaust my capability for continuous communication without caffeine, with a lot of C's in there, wasn't it? German Shepherds think, discern, and move accordingly. They do. It's a nice set. Yeah, it was a nice set. Drop my gloves and my earbuds. But we're gonna go get some coffee, check my email, make sure I don't have any emails pending for my new job. That's one thing I gotta kind of stay on top of. And then after coffee, we're gonna come out here and we're gonna get to work. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, Happy Cappy. But we're gonna wrap up and get this week started. So stay safe and warm up there in Kentucky, and that goes for the rest of y'all's. So peace out, y'all. Shalom.